What artists notice that most people miss. Have you ever looked at a painting with an artist and realized they were seeing an entirely different image? You might notice the subject. The artist notices the light. You might see a face. The artist sees shapes, edges, and relationships. You might see a person sitting in a chair. The artist sees balance, rhythm, movement, and visual storytelling. This difference is not because artists have better eyesight. It is because they have trained themselves to observe differently. One of the first things artists learn is that seeing and looking are not the same thing. Most people look. Artists observe. They slow down long enough to notice details that usually pass unnoticed. A shadow crossing a cheek. A reflection in a window. The subtle way a shoulder tilts when someone is relaxed. These details become important because they reveal structure and meaning. Artists also notice relationships. Instead of focusing on individual objects, they study how things connect to one another. How large is the head compared to the body? How does one shape relate to another? How does light change the appearance of form? These relationships create the foundation of visual understanding. Another thing artists notice is negative space. This may sound strange because negative space is not an object at all. It is the empty area around and between objects. Yet experienced artists pay enormous attention to it. The shape of the space around a figure can be just as important as the figure itself. Sometimes these invisible shapes reveal mistakes or strengths that would otherwise go unnoticed. Artists are also highly aware of light. Most people recognize whether a room is bright or dark. Artists study how light behaves. They notice where it begins, where it ends, how it changes color, how it wraps around surfaces. A simple object can appear completely different depending on the quality of light touching it. This awareness transforms ordinary scenes into sources of endless fascination. Perhaps most importantly, artists notice moments. Tiny moments. A brief expression that lasts only a second. A gesture between two people. A quiet interaction that most observers overlook. These moments often become the inspiration for paintings. Because they reveal something human. Something authentic. Something worth remembering. Over time, this habit of observation begins to influence everyday life. Artists often become more attentive not only to visual details, but to experiences in general. They learn to slow down, to pay attention, to appreciate small things that others rush past. A leaf moving in the wind, the pattern of rain on glass, the way afternoon sunlight changes a familiar room. The world becomes richer because more of it is truly seen. The good news is that this way of seeing is not limited to artists. Anyone can develop it. It begins with a simple choice. To look a little longer. To notice a little more. To become curious about things that usually go unnoticed. Because once you start paying attention, you discover something remarkable. The world is far more interesting than it first appears. And sometimes the most meaningful things are the ones most people miss. Thank you for listening.